Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and it's Thursday, May 2nd, right now as I'm filming this, and since historically it takes me at least a day or 10 to edit a video, I'm just going to call this my Friday Reads and catch you up on what's been going on in my reading life lately, and tell you my May TBR in general and a few specifics, and let it go at that. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that usually in May I concentrate on middle grade books. Akossiwa K has been hosting the Middle Grade May Readathon for several years now. I think this is the 5th year, and it'll be my 4th year to participate. And last year she added a few hosts, which included myself, but this year she just went with her and one other friend, which is totally fine with me because I am really late to the party this year, and I have been just playing catch up ever since March Mystery Madness. So because of Middle Grade May, Elizabeth, Tyre, and I started doing a side challenge a couple of years ago that we call #BookADay in May. And that's normally pretty easy to do when you're just reading middle grade books. So for Middle Grade May, my TBR is going to include hopefully 5 of the Sunshine State books that were just announced, and I will leave a link to that list below so that you can see that. My original goal was to read at least 5 of those in the month of May, and that's still my goal, but the list this year was a little disappointing. I didn't recognize any of the books, and at least half or more of them are books that were kind of off the radar, and so our local libraries did not have quite a few of them already, and because of the Sunshine State list being announced, they had to scramble and get them ordered, and so a lot of them are back ordered because the publisher was just not expecting that much of a rush. But here in the state of Florida, if your book gets put on the Sunshine State list, it's a big deal, and school libraries and public libraries from all over the state are going to be wanting multiple copies of those books. So anyway, I'm having a hard time getting very many of those, and I don't know if I'll get 5 of them read by the end of May. I'm still going to make it my goal to get all 15 of them read by the end of the summer. We'll see how I do, because you know, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it. So I'm going to aim for the moon and hope to land on some stars and see how many cliches I can put in this video. And then I took a look at my 20 by 20 Stack the Series challenge to find some middle grade books on there, mainly that I could get on audio, and also hopefully the ones that I am closer to finishing those series. So the one that floated to the top the quickest was Inheritance by Christopher Paolini. This is book 4 in the Inheritance cycle. It's the only one of the novels that I have not read or listened to, and I am really excited about getting to this. There was some really neat developments in the last couple of books that got me very intrigued, and I am super excited to read this book. This book will count towards my stack 19, which is a stack of 19 YA and middle grade series that are completed and that I had started before I started my 20 by 20 project. That's a mouthful, but anyway, it's a list of series that are completed that I want to complete before the end of 2020. Then my stack of 17 are series that are not completed. There are still more books coming out for those, and they are series that I had already started reading before I started my 20 by 20 challenge, and one of the series is The Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan, and I'm on book 3, The Burning Maze, and I can get this on audio CD from my library, so I have already ordered it and I'm looking forward to reading it. Another series on that same stack are the 39 Clues. Now the 39 Clues has several series. I have completed the original 39 Clues series, and I've completed the first spin-off series, which is Cahill's versus Vespers. I have one book from another spin-off series, which is called Unstoppable. This is book 4, which is called Flashpoint, but all of these books from this spin-off series are on audio on Hoopla. So I will possibly tackle this series series, although I'm not sure. I think there are a couple of other spin-off series that might come before this, and I think at least one or two of those series are on Hoopla. So whichever one comes next and makes the most sense to start with is the one I will start with. But I do hope to read or listen to maybe at least one or two 39 Clues books during Middle Grade May. And then on stack 3 of my 20 by 20 challenge, that is a list of 3 series that I want to start and finish during this 3-year period of my 20 by 20 challenge. And one of those series is the Kingdom Keeper series by Ridley Pearson, and I am on book 4, which is called Power Play. And I can get this on audio CD from my library as well. I did add just a few middle grade books to my TBR for this month that I will be reading in print if I get to them. 2 of them are from the Spiderwick Chronicles. I read books 1 through 3 a few years ago, and I never read books 4 and 5 because I didn't own them and I wanted to go ahead and have my own copies. So I had searched these out at various library book sales, and I finally found books 4 and 5, and they are not on my original 20 by 20 list, but they could take the place of a different series on my stack of 19 if there's a series that I don't get to that's on my original list. So they can come into play for my 20 by 20 challenge. They're just not on my original list. And since I am doing a book a day in May, these are very short, and the potential to be able to read these quickly is very high. So that's why I wanted to include them in my stack. And then my stack 13 on my 20 by 20 challenge is the series of Unfortunate Events. It's a series I've had on my bookshelves for a few years now. I think I'm missing 1 or 2 books, maybe 9 and 11 or something like that, but I've got almost all of them. I read book 1 last year. I listened to an audio theater version the year before, but I did go back and read the full-length print book last year. So now for this year, 2019, I would like to read at least 6 of these during the year so that I'll have another 6 to read in 2020. So this is book 2, The Reptile Room, and now would be a great time to read it since it's Middle Grade May. But with everything else I have to read, I'm not going to promise it, but it's in my potential possibly could read stack for this month. That's probably going to do it for Middle Grade May. And the reason I'm not picking 30 middle grade books for my book a day in May is because now I have fallen into that group of booktubers that can say, I've got to get to my review books. Now, I have read books for review in the past, but up to now they have been from specific authors who have asked me to read their books, or from very small publishers. And recently I have accepted books from 2 larger publishers, and I feel like I really should read those books. I don't intend to let review books take over my reading life. That's not what I'm about. I really want to read the books off my shelves. I want to participate in readathons and challenges. But since I did agree to take these books, and I would like to be able to have the opportunity to do that in the future, I feel like I should take some time and read the books that were recently sent to me. So I've already done a video about the books that were sent to me by Waterbrook Multnomah, which is a Christian publisher and a division of Penguin Random House. And I have another publisher who has sent me books, and I haven't done that video yet, but I'll give you a clue. It is a publisher that publishes cozy mysteries. So I will be telling you about those books very, very soon. So the books from both of those publishers are on my reading lists for May. So if you want to know the books that I'm reading from Waterbrook Multnomah, be sure to check out that video. And if you'd like to know what cozy mysteries I will be reading from the other publisher, which I will tell you about in another video, you'll just have to wait for that video. And then I've got one more stack of books on my May reading list, and that is book club books. Now I am a member of 3 book clubs. One of them is a book club that I lead at our public library. It's a mystery book club. I did start the book for this month today. It's Murder at the Mansion by Sheila Connolly. Sheila Connolly has a couple of other cozy mystery series, but we always like to start from the beginning if possible for our mystery book club. So we are starting on her newest series, which is the Victorian Village series. And the first book is Murder at the Mansion. I started it today. I'm almost 2 hours in, and I'm really enjoying it. And then for my regular literati book club, I talked a little bit about this book when I did my why do I have so many library books checked out video, and it's Big Little Lies by Leon Moriarty, and I went ahead and hung on to the audiobook. It's on CD from my library, which means it's going to take twice as long as it would if I had it on a digital format. I don't know if I want to buy it because I don't think I'll listen to it more than once. So I don't know. I am trying to decide. If you guys have read Big Little Lies, tell me if you think I would enjoy it. I know that there's going to be some racy scenes. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some violent parts and probably some foul language. But I really do want to read it at some point because an old friend of mine that used to be my coworker is in the series. And I watched the first episode of that and I saw him and I was like, oh, this is so cool, but I don't want to get too far into the series until I read the book. So I'm having a dilemma. I really want to focus on these other books, but at the same time, if I'm going to read the book, I may as well read it in time for book club. Anyway, so then I have my brand new book club. Oh, and by the way, if you helped me out with the questions from A Man Called Uva, thank you. Thank you so much. I ended up with a total of 25 surveys that were completed, and that was plenty. It turned out great. We had a fun book club meeting. We didn't have as big of a turnout as I had hoped, but it was okay. The ones who were there, I think they had a lot of fun, and it was a fun experience to do that. So now it's making me think of other types of game shows that we could incorporate into a book club. When my daughter Katie was in elementary school, she belonged to a kids book club at the library, and at that time the children's librarian, who's retired now, she did a Jeopardy game for book club and asked them trivia questions about the book through a Jeopardy format, which I thought was a lot of fun. So that may be the next game show venture that I try for a book club. I don't know. But anyway, this particular book club is not one that I lead normally. It is led by two other people, but I'm a member of it. And our book that we're reading for next month is called Eve by William Paul Young, who is the author of The Shack. Now, I wasn't a big fan of The Shack. Eve is going to be a creation story, and I'm interested to read it. A good friend of mine from church was the one who picked it and recommended it. It does sound intriguing. I went ahead and just used one of my Audible credits to get it because I knew that it was something that I was not going to make myself sit down and read and print. And if I end up hating it, I may have to return it. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. So those book club books are on my list for this month. And I also plan to continue participating with Sarah from Steeped in Books for her Audible Romance Challenge. I can't remember right now what her categories are, and I have not chosen books for those yet. She's been picking 2 categories each month, and she just plans to get 24 categories done this year. And if she doesn't do the rest of the categories next year, I might go ahead and pick up with that next year so that I can go ahead and read a book from all 40 of the categories. We'll see. I don't know. And since I am working at reading a book a day in May, I will probably have to supplement my list with some children's books. I can always read some more Nate the Great books. I still have the 3 checked out from my library. I did read one of those last night, and I'll definitely read the other 2 before I return those to the library. And I might go ahead and get some more of those if I need to, but I'm not going to let that be a huge percentage of what I read. I legitimately want to read mostly full-size books for my book a day in May challenge. However, I'm not able to do that unless I can get the majority of them on audio, and if at least half of those I can speed up. So we'll see. I've been able to do a book a day for I think 3 out of the last 4 months, and that has been due to the fact that I have had a lot of audiobooks that I've been able to speed up. Some of you might think that's cheating, but if audiobooks count as reading, and if speed reading counts as reading, what's wrong with speed audio reading? I think that's fine. So we're going to go with that. Anyway, I think I've made this video long enough, but I want to say thanks to Akossiwa for hosting Middle Grade May again. And I'm sure that last year's co-hosts are also participating. Elizabeth Tyre, I know, has already done her TBR. Be sure you check out her video. I will link her channel below. And if my young friend Jazz from Snazzy Reads is participating, I will link his channel below. He did some excellent videos last year for Middle Grade May, and he continues to read some wonderful middle grade books, and he is a fantastic kid. I've met him in person. I even interviewed him last year for my channel, and you should definitely check out his channel. So that is it for my May TBR. I always tend to bite off more than I can chew, and we'll just see how much I can get done. So then this month sort of ends my frenzied readathon season to go from March Mystery Madness to Amish in April to Middle Grade May, and then after that for the next few months I really want to focus on my 20 by 20 challenge and knock out some of these books that have been on my list and really concentrate on the books that are in my 20 by 20 Stack the Series challenge. So let me know what you are reading in May. That's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.